Hello, welcome to Christ Community Church Daily Drop. We're in Psalms 119. We're in the third paragraph or stanza of 119, or the third letter of the Hebrew alphabet. Please listen as I read verses 17 through 24. 17, deal bountifully with your servant, that I may live and keep your word. Open my eyes, that I may behold wondrous things out of your law. I am a sojourner in this earth. Hide not your commandments from me. My soul is consumed with longing for your rules and at all times. You rebuke the insolent, accused ones who wander from your commandments. Take away from me scorn and contempt, for I have kept your testimonies. Even though princes set plotting against me, your servant will meditate on your statutes. Your testimonies are my delight. They are my counsel. As we look at this poem or song, the psalmist, the author of Psalm 119 in verse 17 says, deal bountifully with your servant. Bountifully would be dealing with somebody generously, abundantly. Dealing with one bountifully would be giving them favor in all of your dealings. In the NLT, it simply says, be good to your servant, Lord. And why? So that I may live or keep your word. Lord, I pray that you are able to keep your word. I pray that I am able to keep your word, Lord. And the next request is that to open my eyes so that I may behold the wondrous things out of your word, out of your commands, that I would know the law. The law is wondrous, and I pray that each of us see God's commands in that way. Many times we see the commandments or the laws as do's and don'ts in a negative light, and it shouldn't be so. Christian, we should see God's law as beautiful. God's law protects, guides, and directs us. It's kind of sad when we need to be reminded of how lovely, how wonderful the laws of God are in our life. We read, thank him for his laws, his rules daily. In verse 19, the psalmist reminds us that this place is not our home. It says that I'm a sojourner. Now, you might not know what a sojourner is, but a sojourner means that this is a temporary residence for you, a foreigner. We are all foreigners. Christian, this place is not our home. In Hebrews 13:14, it says, for this world is not our permanent home. We are looking forward to a home yet to come. I am a sojourner here on earth. Next in verse 20, it says, now this should be my prayer. This should be my prayer and yours also. My soul is consumed with longing for the rules at all times. Each of us should be longing for God's word at all times, God's commands. Can you imagine if your heart was longing for God's law, his word at all times, his just decree, the truth? This should be the prayer that I would pray every day, that my soul would be consumed by longing for God's word. One version puts it this way, my soul is crushed with longing. Another one says that I am overwhelmed with the desire for your regulations, your rules, Lord. An overwhelming desire. That would be a time in our life that we would crave it. We would want God's word day and night. Matter of fact, some of us would say we couldn't live without it. That's something that we can work towards. Now in verse 21, it says it changes to the opposition, the hostility the author is facing. In verse 21, you rebuke the arrogant. Those who wander from your commands are cursed. And verse 22 to 24, speaks of the painful constant of being persecuted, and it prays for respect. Don't let the scorn and the insult me, for I obey your laws. Even princes set and speak against me, but I will meditate on your decrees. Your laws please me. They give me wise advice. Opposition and persecution should drive us towards the Lord, not away from him. When things aren't going our way, we should be reminded to look at God's word. When trials come our way, they might not change us as much as they show what's inside. When pressure comes against us, what's inside comes out. I pray that you're driven towards the Lord, driven towards a greater appreciation for God's word when you're squeezed. There is no better comfort than God's word. I pray that God protects you and keeps you from harm. But I also pray that when opposition comes, that we're each driven to God's word, that we find a more deeper appreciation for God's word. God is so gracious to us, and his gift to us is that he allows us to live and obey his word. I pray that we earnestly seek after the treasures that are hidden in God's word, and that we would always have a passion for the truth. Thank you so much for taking the time to listen, for stopping by today. Lord bless you as you follow the calling he has on your life. See you next time.